Hey, how's it going, everyone? So today I'm going to be showing you my largest dividend income month entirely so far as of recording these videos for you here on YouTube. So we're going to go ahead and just get started here. We're going to be starting actually with my M1 Finance portfolio, and then I'm going to jump quickly into my Vanguard portfolio before it signs me out and just kind of show you some of the different dividends that we got paid out for the month. This is actually the biggest month ever when it comes to dividends so far, which is really exciting. And what's also really cool is I've actually made more just in the first half of this year than I made in 2020, which is really stellar. And this is including my retirement as well as my account here that you can see. It's nicely named Dividend Dennis. We got about $71,000 in here. Portfolio kind of did a little low today. Did a little low. Went a little lower today. For the last week, though, we've actually been in the positive, which is a nice change of pace here. In the last month, we've actually been positive almost $4,300. Which is really nice to see, because the market's been, pretty down for the most part. Quarter is still pretty down. You can see here about $12,000. And then if we go to the year, we're down about $10,800. But we did earn about $708 in the last year. And then if we look in our all-time, we earned negative $3,379. So not too shabby from where we were just a couple months ago, because we kept buying in when the market was down. And that's really critical for the process that we're trying to do here, because even though it's a scary time to buy when the market is low, that's actually the best time to be buying, especially if you believe in these companies, if you're holding them long term. I'm using M1 Finance. This is the platform I love to use. I always like to let people know. You can always check out the link down below if you want to sign up for them. Those links usually have a nice bonus for my audience. But what we're going to do is, like I said, I'm going to hop over to Vanguard, show you the dividends from my retirement first, and then we'll go back into M1 Finance here. So we're going to swap over here, and this is going to be my Vanguard account. Obviously, I have a lot of things kind of crossed off here as protection for information, but we got paid out 3 dividends back the end of June. So this is for everything that we made in June. So you can see 3 dividend payouts. I have 1 retirement account for myself, and then my wife has a Roth as well as a regular IRA. So you can see here, one of the dividends that got paid out was from the Vanguard S&P 500. That was for $212.71 for the quarter, which is nice. You can see the next one over here. This one was from the Roth version of the S&P 500 from my wife's account. You can see that's $50.80. And then you can see here the dividends from her traditional right over here are going to be $22.21. So a pretty good chunk coming in from just our retirement accounts alone. But let's go ahead and check out what we did with M1 Finance, because that's also going to be really important. But before we do that, one really quick thing, and I know my screen was a little off there for us, but real quick, if you are somebody who has student loans, now is the time to make sure you check on the ability to refinance your student loans, so that way you can save money on your interest rates before they continue to keep on moving up. It only takes about 2 minutes to actually check your rates, and the cool thing is it's actually free to refinance your student loans entirely. The link will be down in the show notes down below for you, but here's the cool thing. All my audience members actually get a $100 reimbursement if you go through that process and get your student loans refinanced. So not only is it free, you actually get paid money to do it. And the nice thing is you can use that money that you earned as well as that you saved to invest more into the stock market or anything else you want to do. So let's go back into the M1 Finance. This is the more exciting one. This is the one that's individual stocks that we have. So we're going to go into our holdings and actually our activities and see all this. And then I'm going to have it all added up with the Vanguard as well as the M1 and our totals here as well too. So we're going to bring up just our dividends, and we're actually going to start at the bottom here. Let me zoom in so we can get a better look. There we go. So I'm going to go over all of these payouts here. So you can see June 1st, we actually got paid out from Visa for whopping $3.67. Next up here, we got on June 9th, we got 2 payouts, one from Discover for $8.47. I've actually started buying a little bit more of Discover for the first time in quite some time, because with everything dropping in the market, they actually got to a decent price point for me to be able to buy them again. And the other one on June 9th was from Microsoft for a nice $17.36. And then on the 15th of the month, we got paid out from Next Era Energy for $20.02. So, look at that. We're getting into a lot of these, payouts that are getting into the, $15, $20 ranges. And you can see the next one over here on June 16th from Home Depot, $42. This is actually, I think, the highest dollar amount that we get paid out for dividends from any company. So that's really exciting. And it's so incredible to see $42 from just one company and the dividends, and that's just on a quarterly basis. So we're gonna get 2 more of those for the rest of the year, plus if they increase anything on their dividend as well. And then you can see here on June 24th from Lockheed Martin, we got paid $17.11. I did sell a little bit of Lockheed Martin when they were kind of going towards their, not peak, but they were still actually up in the green while everybody else was down. So I sold them off a little bit just to kind of spread my money around some of the other stocks that were down to get a little bit more value out of them and that money. So we'll probably not see this as high over the next couple of payouts. And then we have here June 30th from Ross. We got paid $18.54. I've been buying a ton of Ross actually for the last couple of weeks because their price has dropped dramatically. And I'm a big believer in the company. I like their vision. I like where they're going. So definitely been buying. So that yield on cost has actually gone quite a bit up for me substantially. And obviously if they do any dividend increases over the next little while. So let's hop over here to this screen. This is my dividend income tracker. We're currently on just the M1 Finance tab. I'll go into my Vanguard / all tab so you can see all of it together. So I know some things are a little off screen. If I remember, I'll slide over. But just to kind of see the outline of it, and then I'm going to zoom in. Oops, that's a zoom out. Zoom in here just a little bit so we can see here. Let me see if I can go like this here. There we go. I'm going to zoom in just even more on this just so we can have an idea of what the months and everything are. So if we add everything up for 2022, for June, I should start with, we ended up with $154.96. So biggest month by far just on M1 Finance alone. The last comparable month was March of 2022 with $120. So a pretty nice increase from quarter over quarter from our comparisons right there. So that's really, really nice. And then if we look for our, let me actually scroll down because it's just off of screen here. So close that off. So you can see for all of 2022, we ended up with $440 so far. If you actually look at just what we made in 2020, it was only $184. So we've blew that out of the water. And in 2021, we only made $514. I say only, but you can see here that we're for sure going to be surpassing that at a huge rate just this year because Q1 was at 206 and now Q2 was 233. So we're definitely destroying these numbers, which is great. This is what we want to be seeing when we're trying to build dividends and have dividend growth over time because we don't have the biggest yield in this dividend account. So I know some people will look at it and be like, well, for $71,000, you're not getting a lot of dividends. That's because we're focusing on some growth companies as well as companies that are focused on growing their dividends at a high rate year over year instead of companies that have a high yield to begin with. So, and that's okay. Everybody's a little different. So we'll see how that plays out for us. Make sure you're subscribed, by the way, just so you can make sure you see if that ends up working out for us as well. So let's switch over to the Vanguard tab. You can see here. So the Vanguard total, when we added up the 3 dividend payouts, comes out to $285.72, which is just a tad bit lower than we made at December, but December gets paid out a few extra dividends. So pretty amazing to see that huge leap because if we look at the quarter prior was 272, and then if we look a year ago, just in the same account, obviously we've been adding a little bit of money into these accounts, but still look at this, 216.49 to 285.72. That's a huge jump for us year over year just for having put in the minimum or the maximums that we could put into our retirement accounts. So I like seeing that growth. I like seeing the opportunities to make more money, and then obviously those dividends are getting reinvested as well as the M1 Finance dividends getting reinvested back into the portfolio. So our year to date so far is $558.39 for our Vanguard account. Last year we made $930. So again, we are poised to definitely take this over from what we did last year, and I am so thrilled for that. And then the last tab here, I gotta definitely move this around a little bit more because I'm not gonna be able to see that. So I'll have to figure out a way to, in the future, make this work a little bit better. But in the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'll just explain it here. So this right here that I'm circling, this is going to be our June 2022, which is $440.68. Like I mentioned, by far, this is the largest month of dividend payouts that we've ever received. The comparable, again, for this is March of 2022, which is $392.89. So again, huge increase for us. in just a couple of months for adding a little bit of extra money, dividend increases that have happened over that period of time. And it's amazing to see that growth, especially when you compare it to last year. Last year, we were around the 200s, a little over the 250 markers, and now we're in the 400s. So we're really seeing that uptick in activity with dividend increases having an effect. Compounding interest is really going to play a big part into this long term for us. And then if I can still go down here, for the bottom part over here. So if we actually look so far, just in the halfway through 2022, we are at $998 in dividend payouts. If we look at last year, in total was 1,444. So we are on track to surpass that pretty significantly, possibly even by the end of Q3. So again, make sure you're subscribed and following along to see if we end up doing it by the end of Q3. That would be incredible. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, we are actually already surpassed how much we made in all of 2022. So these are really cool milestones to just kind of see, the improvements and the growth that is happening. And, hopefully there's going to be a year where we're going to be making, 2,000 halfway through the year, and we're going to be looking back at these numbers and comparing them and saying, wow, I can't believe how much of a growth we're having in that time period as well. And I have that little chart down here. So in the last 6 months, obviously how much we've made, and then so per hour I'm making 23 cents an hour, day or night, awake or asleep, doesn't matter. I am making 23 cents an hour. This growth is just comparing from last year because I just want to see, once we surpass it, what that growth percentage is in comparison. But yeah, I like the pay per hour because I like to see how much I'm making, whether I'm awake or asleep, and then eventually one day, be making lots and lots of money there. So I mentioned here, if you guys want to check out M1 Finance, I'll have them linked down below. Don't forget to also check out the refinancing if you need to refinance your student loans. All that will be in the show notes down below for you guys. And then check out my next video right over here to keep on watching and growing this portfolio grow over time. My name is Dennis, and I'll see you in that next video.